breaking news out of Greater Manchester of the police there and emergency services attending what they described about 20 minutes ago as an incident.
The suicide bomber had exploded himself and his device in the foyer area outside the concert hall.
It was a difficult scene to walk into, really. There were police doing their job, still members of the public, holding on to loved ones and that sort of thing. So it was definitely something I'd not ever had to experience before, thankfully.
I don't think you can ever get it out your head, ever.
When you're on a live search, any step could potentially be your last.
The search world, searching for bombs, it is probably the most dangerous job there is in the world, and unfortunately, as it did for me, sometimes it goes wrong, and when it does, it tends to have quite catastrophic circumstances behind it.
We do find that a lot of the community do end up with PTSD and other forms of mental illness and stresses. So again, that's why the Felix Fund's there, and that's why it's really important.
The guys and girls from the EOD and search community, I feel, are very much unsung heroes. They work very much under the radar, so they don't get public recognition that maybe they deserve. To that end, I think Felix Fund is massively important in supporting them, making sure that they understand that they are valued and appreciated, the work they do in keeping us all safe.
So the reason I got involved with Felix Fund in the first place was because I was an operator in Afghanistan, and I got to see firsthand what the EOD and search teams and all of the associated personnel with them was going through in terms of mental and physical stress and trauma. And that really compelled me to want to do something when I came back. The MOD does what it can to provide support in a broader context, but actually when you're trying to give niche support to your own community, there was a need there that needed to be filled.
So I got blown up on the battlefield on the 24th of July 2005, and I was conscious throughout the event. I remember all the way up to being put on board the Black Hawk helicopter and evacuated from the ground. I don't have any real memory past that point, although I'm told I was conscious all the way to the operating table in the centre of Baghdad.
I mean, the main struggles really after getting blown up was I suffered a lot of I had a few confidence issues after I got blown up. Obviously, I went from being a 25-year-old strong, fit, able-bodied man to being a 25-year-old who was being fed his meals through a tube 3 times a day. It was tough.
With Felix Fund, all of the money goes towards that particular need there and then. So if the family needs a wheelchair, the board can sit, the decision's made, the money's handed over, the wheelchair is bought the very next day in some cases. And I think that is a particularly unique aspect of Felix Fund that you wouldn't find anywhere else in other military charities.
So the Felix Fund has helped me a few times since I've been injured. It's surprising, you wouldn't think of it until you find yourself in the situation, but being disabled can be quite expensive. So for instance, here I am now, married, 4 kids, 2 wheelchairs, because I'm a one-armed wheelchair user. Sometimes a manual chair simply isn't practical, so you have to have an electric chair. So the Felix Fund has helped me out with payments to enable me to get a vehicle that can get me and my family out and about socially. Also in the house, we needed to modify the house quite significantly to make it wheelchair accessible, and that included putting a lift in, and the Felix Fund assisted in paying for that. So they've been very generous over the last 10 years in helping out and making life more practically easy.
Yeah, so the Felix Fund helped me massively. Obviously, with the trip to Sydney for the surgery, they were instrumental in helping us to achieve that with the funds that they freed up for us, and as well with funding my rugby wheelchair that allowed me to take part in the games in Toronto and in Sydney. So they've been absolutely fantastic in helping not just me but my wife experience new things and to get us back to normal as such.
Felix Fund. It's changed my life, absolutely for the better, and it deserves all support.
The work that the Felix Fund's doing, in my opinion, is vital. I've sort of benefited from the Felix Fund personally. It's helped me through what was quite a difficult and stressful period. It's given me techniques that I can now sort of use in my day-to-day life to sort of keep the stress at bay. And I think the Army in general does quite a good job, but we've got quite a specialist job, and it requires a specialist response really, and that's what the Felix Fund offers.
So quite often when I chat to people, they say to me, why does Felix Fund need to exist? Because we're not in Afghanistan anymore, we're not in Iraq, the need is gone. Well, that's absolutely not the case. If I was to say to you that even in the United Kingdom, annually, EOD and search operators complete on average 2,500 jobs a year. And that, every single one of those jobs, until the operator has declared it successful, is incredibly stressful for him or her and the entire team. So in terms of need and experiencing trauma and stress, that is absolutely evident in everything that they do, even domestically.
So Felix Fund is a tri-service charity. We are very small in terms of personnel, but we are a national-based charity, and we help anybody across the wider EOD and search community. So that's from the Army, the Royal Engineers and the Royal Logistic Corps, the Navy Divers, SO15, the Met Police Counter-Terror Unit.
This charity is directly supporting the very people that are providing you effectively an emergency service support mechanism themselves. So 2,500 jobs per year in the United Kingdom, defending our wider community from the EOD threat, from bomb threats. Those people are doing that every single day of the week, 365 days a year. And they need your support. You can deliver that support by donating into Felix Fund.